It is very, very easy to obtain a large amount of Solent over time through doing exactly this. So we've talked about Lucent, we've talked about traits, we've talked about a lot of stuff. And if you guys are looking to check out more guides for my channel, definitely check out my channel. But in this video today, we're going to talk about Solent, the in-game currency gold. Okay, we're going to call it gold right now, but it's called Solent. So in this video, I'm just going to tell you guys some efficient ways of getting some Solent, and let's just waste no time and dive right into it. So first and foremost, the number one best way to get Solent, as many of you may know, many of you may not, and I'm about to save you a bunch of time, is through Precious Marind. Precious Marind is one of the more lesser valued stones amongst the few that you may notice. You have the Emirate, you have the Rubrics, you have the Stalin, and you have the Marind. The Marind is one of the least valued ones. If you look at the marketplace as well, looking at the auction house at Marind, Marind is also very cheap for Lucent. Lowest sale price on average on our server is actually very inexpensive. What is so special about Marind is if you hover over the price of Marind, the sale price is for 432,000 Solent. This is a lot of players' main ways of getting Solent. You go ahead, you go to any vendor, you go to sell, you select the vendor, you sell your Marind. I will sell all of mine to show you that this is how I also farm my Solent. It is very, very easy to obtain a large amount of Solent over time through doing exactly this. So if you've got some extra Lucent on the side, want to get some Solent, buying Marind and selling it to a vendor is a cheap and easy way to also do this. But in the background, there are other ways to farm Solent, and I will mention a few here as well. One of the big ones is I would recommend going into your battle pass, going into your Zenith's star shop, and with the star crystals, you can buy Solent bundles. This is one way, as well as being able to buy buffs that you can use to give you additional Solent increase when you are farming open world dungeons. You can also craft food that serves the exact same purpose. So on the left-hand side of the cooking tabs, under the miscellaneous tab, you have a variety of food buffs that you can craft. You'll notice that some of them have Solent bonus as well as contract token consumption buffs. So it'll be using these will be more efficient for the abyssal token contract consumption. So these coins are consumed in open world dungeons. You can proc food buffs to give you more Solent gain and consuming less of your tokens to give you more grind time in the open world dungeons. Open world dungeons being example of these blue contracts that you can go do. So being Shadow Crypt, Silas's Abyss, Sanctum, Saradoma Island. The last one that I was just running was at Shadowed Crypt, but procking any of these food buffs can give you additional Solent while you're doing open world grinding. So right now I am over here at Shadowed Crypt. We go into Shadow Crypt. Let's go ahead and just take down a quick mob. We'll go ahead and tag this guy. And just give me a second to burn this. So this guy dies. You'll notice that I get 356 plus whatever that amount. Let's go ahead and take down another one here. Taking down this guy here, we get 854 plus 63, 67. So let's go ahead and use one of our Solent bonuses here. We go ahead and turn that on. So now every time I kill a mob, I'm going to get additional Solent for killing this mob upon consuming these tokens at the top right hand side. Let's go ahead and take this down. So now you'll notice 1,110 plus that 6,000 amount. So every single mob that I kill is going to have increased Solent gain per kill. And what's nice about this is when you're going into these areas to potentially farm more Solent, you activate a contract. I'm in Shadow Crypt right now. You'll notice that these contracts that you run will also contain Solent. So we grind for Solent, we add things for additional Solent, and then we can maximize on how much we get in return. When you refresh the contracts, you'll notice that the Solent gain for these blue contracts always remain the same. So it's good to accept things like this. Now we can grind these mobs and obtain a Solent reward for completion, as well as more Solent for grinding it. So then at the end result, we'll get closer to those hundreds of thousands and then getting even closer into the millions of Solent gained over time. Even in the overworld, the general world, you can also grind for Solent, but you'll notice that as I kill one of these mobs, 17 Solent. I go ahead and kill one of these guys. Typically the overworld mobs are really not that worth it. So let's go ahead and get rid of this guy here. You'll notice again, 31. We kill this guy, 93. So Solent buffs aren't necessarily that great at all to run in the overworld, but in open world dungeons, it is much more efficient to be using them in those scenarios. So we proc this rare crab meat pie. We have a 50% additional Solent bonus for grinding on top of efficient token consumption for the dungeons. Proc an abundant fruit, and we get an additional 30% for Solent. So the battle pass buff and the cooking buff does stack with one another, and you can get up to 80% bonus Solent return. So in case you're doing any active grinding and you're burning through your tokens, this is another way that you can prioritize getting more Solent. Let's go over to a contract vendor as well. If you talk to any of the contract managers, when you select on these contracts, there will also be Solent for completion of these contracts. You'll notice the contracts currently are at level 1. It's good to select a contract and then try to rotate them to see if you can get higher levels. The higher levels will give you more Solent as well as more materials through the completion of these contracts. So let's go ahead and grab one of these, refresh. So you'll notice here for 75,000 Lucent, I have a level 2 contract here that will give me 150,000 Solent. And these contracts will go all the way up to level 3. Right now, I don't need that. I need parchments more than anything. So we'll refresh. Let's go ahead and grab a few more here, refresh, see if we can get a higher level one. And we don't. But you can see that rolling these contracts, not only do you have a chance for these precious pouches, you also have a chance for higher material return as well as higher Solent return for higher level contracts. That's why refreshing these are so important for min-maxing the most you can get out of it. So again, we have open world dungeon with food buff grinding. We have selling precious Merend. Even the overworld will drop Solent as well. The buffs that you can run to increase that Solent potential, even having your inventory with lesser Merend to craft those precious Merend stone is a great way of Solent return. And make sure you are aware of the buffs that you might be running to maximize the efficiency of it. So hopefully this was helpful. A lot of people have been asking for some Solent information. I know this one won't be necessarily too sought after, but hopefully this will help you guys if you guys find yourself running short on Solent, because you use that as a fuel to craft growth stones, proc your upgrades, and it's a huge fuel source for a lot of little activities in the game. So if this was helpful, be sure to leave the video with a like, subscribe if you're interested in checking out more content from myself, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys here in the next one. Peace.